Sudan's warring factions are reportedly signaling openness to peace talks after more than 2 years of brutal civil war that has devastated the nation and created one of the world's worst humanitarian crises. Now, on the surface, that sounds like positive news, and of course, any movement towards peace should be welcomed. But the wider context behind this headline is staggering because this conflict has quietly become one of the deadliest wars in the modern world, whilst receiving virtually nowhere near the level of media attention seen elsewhere. The war erupted back in April 2023 between Sudan's National Army, the SAF, and the RSF paramilitary forces. Ironically, these groups were once allies following the overthrow of Omar al-Bashir. But rival ambitions, military tensions, and struggles for power drag Sudan into chaos. And the numbers are horrifying. Tens of thousands are believed dead. Some estimates place the true figure far higher due to underreporting and inaccessible regions. Over 10 million people have been displaced, entire cities reduced to rubble, hospitals collapsed, food systems destroyed, famine warnings spreading. And yet, much of the world barely talks about Sudan. And that amazes us at the JR Voice. Because one must genuinely ask why some conflicts dominate global headlines every single day whilst others almost disappear despite equally horrific suffering. At the moment, tensions surrounding Ukraine or the Middle East can dominate international media for weeks. Meanwhile, Sudan can experience catastrophic humanitarian collapse, and many ordinary people across the world barely even hear about it. And perhaps that says something uncomfortable about how Africa is still viewed internationally. Too often the continent is framed only through instability and poverty, rather than as a continent filled with nations, economies, cultures, and people whose lives should carry equal global importance. The JR Voice opinion is simple. Human suffering should not need strategic value before the world pays attention. A child suffering in Sudan should matter just as much as a child suffering anywhere else on Earth. A humanitarian disaster in Africa should receive the same urgency and attention as crises elsewhere. Because when the world selectively chooses which suffering receives constant visibility and which suffering quietly fades into the background, people begin to notice the imbalance. Now yes, these emerging peace talks are potentially significant. Regional powers and international organizations are reportedly increasing pressure for negotiations, but many Sudanese civilians remain skeptical because previous ceasefires repeatedly collapsed whilst the violence continued. So whilst this headline may represent a glimmer of hope, Sudan still remains deeply wounded, and the world should not wait until a crisis directly affects Western economies before finally paying attention. This has been the JR Voice. Stay tuned for more unpacking of global headlines.